bit reverby. Can you do that? Yeah. Otherwise I'll feel like the Wizard of Oz. Don't look at the man behind the curtains. How's that? That's a little bit better, isn't it? A little bit more normal. Hello. Good evening. Welcome to all of you. All of you. Wow. Hello to the people I know. Hello to the people I haven't met. I'm Kirsten. Nice to see you. And welcome to the first scratch run-through of my new spoken word show, which is called The Rain Cannot Be Stolen. It is a scratch performance, which means you are absolutely allowed to give me feedback, preferably after I've finished. That'd be good. And there are some bits of paper and pencils around if anybody would like to write it down, but you can also speak to me afterwards. And so I'm taking this show up to Edinburgh, and it's a show that's about travelling, kinda. So I'd like to start by just asking you, has anybody here done the backpacking thing? Anybody in the room been out and about and around the place? Yes, where did you get to?
Just Australia.
Australia? Yeah. And was that recently or ages ago?
Years ago.
I bet it's still really vivid though.
Yeah.
You can remember a lot about it. Yeah. I travelled quite a long time ago as well, and it's intense. You come back and you talk about it a lot. Have people had family members or friends come back and talk incessantly about where they've been and tell you all about it? Yeah. And you nearly break up with them. Well, I was one of those travellers. Sorry. I was a 5 pairs of knickers and some flip-flops in a backpack, and that's the way I roll, kind of traveller. An hour in the ticket queue, 3 hours on the platform, smoking beanies like I'm poor. 3 days to Delhi, shit through a hole in the floor, it's more real that way. I thought I was going to find myself, my real self. I was striding across the lonely planet, seeking some eternal flame, nothing but a copy of the Celestine prophecy and a credit card to my name. So maybe you've been there, maybe you haven't, doesn't matter. We're not all the same. But I am willing to bet that we all have something here, something in common. Like me, I think that you are all older than you used to be. And the you that you are now is not the you once called me. Some things you would repeat, and some things you would erase. I'm willing to bet that for most of us that is the case. Now, I went travelling in 1995. I went to India for 6 months and accidentally stayed away for 2 years. Came back, bored my friends to tears, finally shut up about it, and then last year I reread my travel journals. And the poems and the thoughts and the stories in this show come from those two things, the going and the looking back. So I thought we'd keep it simple, and I'd start at the beginning, because that's traditional. And the beginning for me was Goa, where I stayed for some time. So, Goa is Goa. Now, we flew there in a straight line, Charlotte and I, but twisted a tight angle into Panjim and lurched sideways inside. A carousel in an old warehouse. Pick your bags, pick a town, pick a taxi, any taxi. They've all got an aunt with a house to let. Trust the prettiest tout. Place your bets. The sanity of the straight coast road soon breaks down into a scramble scrub of shacks. Every path a sand snickle between middens and washing lines. It's the desire lines of dogs and pigs and women with fish on their heads. We are 5 minutes from the road, 2 minutes from the beach, completely lost. We've come here for full moon parties, but it's the wrong time of year. And we've come to see a solar eclipse, but we're at the wrong end of the country. Now, no one here can say Kirsten. They all call me Sasha. The vowels stretched out like a reclining nude. like someone else. There's no mirror in our little house. I soon forget my face. At night, we can hear each shrug of a wave. And by day we walk the dark crescent of their slip away, Charlotte north towards Bugger, where the best drugs are. I go south to my demon lover at Fort Aguada. And every night we take a taxi to Tito's and dance on the sand, and the club sucks up tourists like a sponge, and the nights close around us like a hot hand. Esperanza brings us coffee on the morning of the eclipse, the cups delicate, white and grey on a silver circle tray. But the sun is barely strong enough to throw a shadow. The beach is misted, insubstantial. How does it even carry the weight of these leaf-creased, sharp-nosed boats leaning on their outrigger logs? Skeins of nets echo the tide line drying. They will be wound into twin piles, one dotted with cork floats, the other pinned down with rock weights. Charlotte and I, we're soon going to be asked to move on. We leave doors open when we shouldn't, and somewhere the moon is eating the sun, but we can't see it. Now, I say we're there at the wrong time of year, wrong, whatever wrong is. I suppose by that I mean we were there in the monsoon. Lots of people go to Goa for 2 weeks of fun in the sun. That's really good. You kind of need sun. We were there in monsoon. There was a lot of rain, not much sun. But if you're there for navel gazing, that's fine. In fact, there's 2 monsoons in India, East Coast and West. And if you plan it right, you can spend half your year in the off-season. All you need is a veranda, nice place to sit, something nice to smoke, and you can lose yourself in the lush and the green and the overlapping rhythms and pulsings of the rain. Because when it's getting on for June, it will be monsoon soon. When the rain, thin, pin, rain, rain, slap, drop, rain, fat, green, bean, rain, double time, ring, ting, rain, rain, tings, tin cord, slap, bang, pan cord, pan tiles, sing songs, terracotta, pam, 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 pam. Stay on when the rains come. There's not a lot to do. Talk a little, tittle, tattle, listen to the palm tips rattle, and the dripping and the dropping on the leaves and the flowers for hours and hours and hours and hours. Bougainvillea, pink, 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 pink. And the rain, thin, pin, rain. Rain, slap, drop, rain, fat, green, bean, rain, double time, ring, ting, rain. Rain, tings, tin cord, slap, bang, pan cord, pan tiles, sing songs, terracotta, pan, 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 pan. Stay on when the rains come. The beaches are deserted. Candle in Kalangu, bagga, 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 backpackers packed up, shooting through. Bombay butterflies gone back to Juhu on the catamaran, the catamaran, the catamaran. And the rain, thin, pin, rain, rain, slap, drop, rain, fat, green, bean, rain, double time, ring, ting, rain, rain, ting, tin cord, slap, bang, pan cord, pan tiles, sing songs, terracotta, terracotta, pan, 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 pan. Because the rain comes down in a rush, in a crush. Drops are dripping from the drooping tips of palms on the paddies and the brollies of the people on the mopeds, on the heads of the cattle, like steam from a kettle. Rain comes down in a rush, in a crush on the terracotta pum 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 tiles. The veranda, 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 the veranda. So the rains feed the rice fields, and the rice fields feed the world. In Goa, the paddies are flat with the land. They're like ladders inlaid with silver squares, either side of a raised road. And at harvest, rice piles dry on the sun-baked tarmac. And women winnow on riverbanks to catch the breeze, using wide wicker bowls to throw up the seeds. I live in a small outhouse cottage across the courtyard from a large Portuguese-style villa. Mustard stucco, white trim. Ashley lives there, Ashley De Silva, and his wife Deepa, and his parents. And the De Silvas own the rice field.